The cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just.
Disney's live-action Snow White trailer is here, and the excitement has been absolutely real. But so is the backlash. Based on the 1937 animated classic, the new Snow White brings the iconic fairy tale to life. Well, sorta. From the trailers that have dropped so far, fans can't help but wonder, is it a magical retelling or just another CGI mess? Grab some popcorn as we dive into what's good, what's bad, and why this live-action remake might be more controversial than you'd expect. First things first, let's talk about what the movie is actually about. Disney has taken their iconic Snow White and Seven Dwarfs and given it a bit of a makeover. Directed by Mark Webb, the film stars Rachel Zegler as Snow White, with Gal Gadot taking on the role of the evil queen.
Piece of fairness, but the queen changed everything.
The plot follows the same general arc. Snow White, after her father's death, is forced to live with her evil stepmother, the queen, who tries to kill her. Snow White then flees into the forest, meets the dwarves, and the story unfolds from there. But here's the twist. Snow White isn't just waiting around for her prince. Oh no. Instead of being a damsel in distress, she's got an added layer of independence, portrayed as a more active hero trying to restore her kingdom. Snow White is all about action and self-empowerment, and that's where things start getting interesting. Now, this may sound like a pretty exciting update, right? But of course, there's more to it than meets the eye. So let's start with the positives. Yes, there are quite a few. For one, the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White has earned a lot of praise. Zegler brings fresh energy to the character, making her more modern and relatable to today's audiences. While some might say she's not exactly white as snow, her portrayal seems to capture the spirit of the character, giving her a much-needed update for 2024. There's something charming about seeing Snow White as a more proactive and dynamic lead, rather than just a princess waiting for rescue. And then there's Gal Gadot as the evil queen.
And changing the voice and everything, I feel so lucky that I got to play something that is so far from what I know and what I'm used to, and I super enjoyed every second of it.
You might expect her just to do another version of her Wonder Woman persona, but now she's channeling a darker, more menacing energy here. The queen is a bit more nuanced and complex, which in theory could make for a much more engaging villain than the original animated version. But beyond the characters, there's one thing that's undeniably impressive about this live-action remake: the visuals. Disney is still the master of grandiose, jaw-dropping cinematography, and the forest scenes are absolutely stunning. The setting is lush, mystical, and beautiful in a way that only Disney can pull off. Whether you love or hate the rest of the film, you can't deny that Disney knows how to craft a visually mesmerizing world. The enchanted forest looks magical, with vibrant colors and sweeping camera angles that transport you straight into a fairy tale. Now, let's get into the part where things get a bit messy. And trust me, they get real messy. Let's talk about these dwarves, or, well, the CGI dwarves. Yep, you heard that right, CGI. Instead of casting actors with dwarfism for all 7 dwarves, Disney has gone with a mix of CGI and a single actor with dwarfism.
Weird.
This decision has sparked some serious backlash, with many fans and critics feeling that Disney has missed the mark. Why not hire a full cast of actors with dwarfism, like in the original movie? Why resort to CGI that makes the dwarves look more like creepy video game characters than actual humans? And the CGI doesn't stop with the dwarves, oh no. The entire world of Snow White feels like it's been dunked in a CGI filter, and not in a good way. The forest, the animals, and even the little details like leaves on trees all look more like they belong to an animated movie than a live-action one. The blend of photorealism with cartoonish CGI makes the visuals feel disjointed, and it's hard not to notice how unnatural everything looks. While Disney may argue that they're creating a fantastical world, it comes off as too artificial for comfort. Plus, the forest creatures, well, they're helping Snow White clean up the dwarves' cottage, and let's just say it's not exactly Bambi in terms of realism. The animals are doing human tasks, and while it's cute and whimsical, it doesn't quite land the way Disney likely intended. Instead, it feels like the world itself is too magical to be believable, and that pulls you out of the movie experience. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the diversity controversy. Disney has been under fire for casting decisions in recent years, with many fans feeling that their reboots are being overly concerned with ticking off boxes, rather than honoring the original spirit of the film. The Snow White remake is no exception. The casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White, who is of Colombian descent, has been met with a lot of criticism. Some argue that it's a brilliant step toward more inclusivity, while others feel it's a forced diversity move that doesn't make sense for the story. But the real problem might not just be Zegler's casting. It's the way the movie seems to take those political themes and insert them into every part of the story.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is now framed as the heroine who is restoring the kingdom, a far cry from the original tale where she's mostly passive, relying on the prince for rescue. There's nothing wrong with empowering female characters, but the shift in Snow White's role feels more like a politically motivated rewrite than an organic evolution of the character. And let's not forget about the new songs. Disney is known for its catchy tunes, but the new music in Snow White feels flat. They've added new songs, sure, but according to fans, none of them are as memorable or emotionally impactful as the ones from the original animated film. In fact, some people expressed that the music feels like an afterthought, tossed in to pad out the runtime and give the movie that extra Disney magic. But does it work? Not really. It's all a bit forgettable. So, what's the overall reception been like for this Snow White remake? Well, it's been a mixed bag at best. While there are some things to like, especially the visuals and the potential of the characters, many people are left unimpressed by the massive overuse of CGI, the awkward changes to the original plot, and the overwhelming sense that the movie was made more for a political correctness than for genuine creativity. And it's not just the CGI that's causing an uproar. The dialogue and pacing of the trailer have also left a lot to be desired. Snow White, instead of being a charming princess, is now giving speeches about restoring the kingdom, like she's ready to lead an army into battle. This massive shift in tone isn't sitting well with many fans of the original, who simply wanted to see a new take on the old classic, not a reimagining that completely reworks everything. To top it all off, the film's heavy focus on diversity and political correctness seems to have overshadowed the storytelling itself. While Disney's efforts to be inclusive are admirable, it's hard to ignore how forced and clumsy some of these changes feel. This isn't a case of updating a classic, it's a case of changing it to fit an agenda that might not resonate with audiences who just want to enjoy a fun magical film. In the end, Disney's Snow White's live-action remake looks like it's going to be a divisive film. For every person who appreciates the fresh take on Snow White and the diverse casting, there will be another who feels that the film lacks the charm and heart of the original. The overuse of CGI, the forced political messaging, and the awkward character changes could very well be enough to turn people off. But will it bomb? That remains to be seen. Whether you like or dislike the trailer, one thing is for sure. It has certainly made some headlines. The remake of Snow White features a mix of new elements and familiar moments, sparking both excitement and controversy. Disney has clearly aimed to create a modern twist on the classic, but while opinions may vary, the film has undeniably generated a lot of buzz. What do you think? Are you excited about Disney's new Snow White, or do you think it's destined to be another failed remake? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more updates.